You guys, there's no wick. There's literally nothing to light in here.
The luxury candle industry just witnessed something unprecedented, something that has social media absolutely erupting. And at the center of it all, Meghan Markle's American Riviera Orchard brand. But this isn't your typical product launch drama. This is a consumer nightmare unfolding in real time. And the deeper we dig, the more shocking it becomes. Right now, across multiple platforms, angry customers are sharing photos, posting videos, documenting their experiences. And here's what they're all saying. Their $64 luxury candles arrived without wicks. Yes, you heard that right, no wicks, nothing to light, just expensive blocks of scented wax. Stay with me, because what starts as a simple quality control issue quickly spirals into something far more serious. We're talking potential federal investigations, class action lawsuits, and a brand implosion that nobody saw coming. And the questions we need to ask are simple but critical. How does this happen? Why isn't anyone getting refunds? And could this actually be illegal? Let's break this down piece by piece. The problem, nobody took seriously until it was everywhere. When the first posts appeared online, most people scrolled right past them. A candle without a wick, that had to be a joke. Maybe photoshopped, possibly a one-time manufacturing defect that slipped through quality control. These things happen, right? Except it kept happening. More customers posted, then more. Different states, different order dates, different shipping addresses, but the same problem. Candles arriving without the one component that makes them functional. This wasn't one defective product sneaking past inspection. This was a pattern, a widespread, consistent pattern of customers receiving unusable merchandise. And here's what makes this particularly damning. These aren't wickless candles designed for wax warmers. We know this because printed directly on the bottom of each candle are clear instructions. Always trim wick to 1/4 inch. That text confirms these products are specifically designed to be lit with matches or lighters. They're meant to have wicks. The manufacturer knew it. The brand knew it. Everyone knew it. Some customers opened their boxes to find a neat hole running down the center of the candle, like the wick was supposed to be there, but someone forgot to add it during production. Just an empty tunnel going straight through the wax. Others received solid blocks with no hole at all. No wick, no space for a wick. Just $74 worth of decorative wax that serves absolutely no purpose. Think about that for a second. You order a luxury candle. You wait for delivery. You open the beautifully packaged box with anticipation. And inside, a product that literally cannot perform its only function. The price tag that changes everything. Now, let's talk money. Because this detail shifts everything from annoying mistake to, are you kidding me right now? These candles retail for $64 each. $64. That's not a typo. That's not including shipping or taxes. That's the base price for one candle. To put that in perspective, you could walk into Bath & Body Works and buy multiple candles that actually burn properly for less than $64. You could go to Home Goods or TJ Maxx and pick up several well-made, beautifully scented candles and still have money left over. You could purchase a large Yankee candle that fills your entire home with fragrance and pocket the difference. But customers didn't do that. They trusted the Meghan Markle name. They believed the marketing about luxury and quality. They expected something elevated, something special, something worth the premium price point. They expected excellence. What did they actually receive? A very expensive paperweight that smells vaguely like something. And it gets worse. Want to know what scent these $64 candles are marketed as? California Poppy. Along with a few other notes, sure, but California Poppy is the signature scent, the hero ingredient, the whole identity. Here's the problem. California poppies barely have any scent at all. People who actually live in California, surrounded by these flowers every spring, have pointed this out repeatedly.
Thousands of people leave their cars on the side of the road as they surge into the green hills covered by brightly colored poppies.
The flower has almost no natural fragrance, which means even if your candle arrived with a wick, you'd still be burning $64 worth of wax scented after something that doesn't really smell like anything in real life. That alone raises eyebrows. But we're just getting started. When customer service goes silent. So what happens when customers realize they've been sent defective products? They do exactly what any reasonable person would do. They contact customer service. They submit tickets through the official website. They send emails. They request replacements. They ask for refunds. This is standard procedure. This is how commerce works. You receive a faulty product, you reach out to the company, and they make it right. It's not complicated. Except nothing happened. Multiple reports confirm the brand's customer service is essentially non-responsive. Some buyers received generic automated replies that didn't address their specific issues. Others never heard back at all. Refund requests were denied outright or simply ignored. And here's the kicker. According to numerous sources, the American Riviera Orchard website operates under a strict no-refund policy. Read that again. No refund policy. So if you spend $64 on a candle and it arrives missing the one component that makes it a candle, that's your problem.
When I ordered Meghan Markle's products, but $64 for a candle is unacceptable if it does not come with a wick.
No refund, no replacement, just tough luck. Keep your useless wax cylinder and move on with your life. Let's be crystal clear about what this means. When you pay for a product and it arrives defective, broken, or non-functional, you have consumer rights. Those rights exist for exactly this reason. A blanket no refund policy doesn't override your legal protections when a business sends you something that objectively doesn't work. One buyer documented their entire customer service experience on camera. They went through the official website, selected that their item arrived damaged, explained the issue clearly and professionally. The response? A form asking for their order number. After providing it, they received nothing helpful, no solution, no acknowledgement, just radio silence. When you position yourself as a luxury brand charging luxury prices, customer service isn't optional, it's absolutely essential. Ignoring valid complaints doesn't just upset customers, it damages the brand's reputation permanently. And here's the thing about reputation damage in the age of social media. It spreads fast, really fast. The Netflix connection that says everything. Now here's a detail that puts this entire situation into brutal perspective. A recent story surfaced about a Netflix employee leaving the company.
Netflix has changed its internal memo warning employees. The memo says the company is focused on creating programming.
As part of their departure, they received what was described as a trash bag full of leftover promotional items, random swag, unwanted merchandise, stuff the company just wanted gone. Clear it out, make room, get rid of it. Inside that bag, American Riviera Orchard products, including candles. Let that sink in for a moment. Netflix, a major corporate partner directly tied to Meghan Markle through her previous content deals, was giving these products away as employee junk, not as premium gifts for valued clients, not as carefully curated merchandise for special occasions, just items to clear out and dispose of. And here's the part that makes this exponentially worse. The candle in that Netflix swag bag was also wickless, which means Netflix had these defective products sitting in storage, knew they weren't worth keeping, and literally tossed them into bags for departing employees. That's the level of value they assigned to American Riviera Orchard merchandise. Zero polish, zero care, just something to get rid of. This happened right after Netflix officially cut ties with Meghan Markle following disastrous performance numbers for her show. The series reportedly ranked beyond 1,200 on Netflix's internal charts. It was beaten by decade-old reruns of Downton Abbey. It was outperformed by children's cartoons with zero marketing budget. Netflix wanted distance from this project, and judging by how they treated the merchandise, they wanted that distance immediately. When your major streaming partner is quietly dumping your products as leftover trash, that tells you everything you need to know about perceived value. The freaky eye for detail that missed everything. Here's where the contradictions become impossible to ignore. Meghan Markle has repeatedly described herself as someone with extreme attention to detail. She's said in multiple interviews that she's deeply involved in every aspect of her brand. She's positioned herself as a hands-on entrepreneur who personally oversees what goes out under her name. Her exact words were that she has a freaky eye for detail. A freaky eye for detail. So how are candles shipping without wicks? Not once, not twice, but repeatedly, across different orders, to different customers, in different locations. This isn't a single mistake. This is a systematic failure, which leaves us with only two possible explanations, and neither one looks good. Option 1. She isn't actually involved in quality control at all, which would make all those public claims about being hands-on completely untrue. It would mean the personal brand she's built around being meticulous and detail-oriented is just marketing language with no substance behind it.
And Meghan Markle, she says she's all about this attention to detail. Go to that factory because this is unacceptable.
Option 2. She is involved in quality control and somehow missed that her signature candles don't have wicks, which makes the whole freaky eye for detail claim very difficult to take seriously. Because if you can't spot that your candles are missing their most essential component, what are you actually paying attention to? There's no version of this story where she comes out looking competent. None. This isn't a complicated product we're talking about. It's a candle. Candles have existed for thousands of years. The process is straightforward and well established. You need wax, you need fragrance, you need a container, and you need a wick. That's 4 things. 4 basic, essential components. And somehow, again and again, one of those 4 essentials isn't making it into the final product. That points to either a catastrophic breakdown in manufacturing that nobody caught before shipping, or something potentially worse. The issue was known and products were sent out anyway, with the hope that customers wouldn't complain or wouldn't notice. Both scenarios are unacceptable. Both scenarios raise serious questions about how this business actually operates behind the scenes. The legal exposure nobody's talking about yet. So what happens next? What are the real tangible consequences when a company sells defective products at premium prices and then refuses to issue refunds? There are several possible paths forward, and none of them are good for the brand. First, there's the Federal Trade Commission. The FTC handles complaints related to deceptive or unfair business practices. Selling a product marketed as a functional candle that doesn't actually function as a candle could fall directly under their oversight. If enough formal complaints are filed, an investigation becomes a very real possibility. And once federal regulators get involved, everything changes. Second, there's the very real risk of a class action lawsuit. When multiple customers are affected by the same defective product from the same company, they can come together and take legal action as a group. This situation fits the exact pattern those lawsuits are designed for. Widespread harm, similar damages, same source, same misconduct. Third, there's the Better Business Bureau. While the BBB doesn't have legal enforcement power, a wave of complaints can absolutely destroy a company's rating and create a permanent public record that follows the brand everywhere it goes. That kind of damage affects partnerships, retail opportunities, investor confidence, everything. But the legal exposure goes even deeper than most people realize. State-level consumer protection laws vary, and many states have extremely strict rules about selling defective products and refusing refunds. Depending on where the company operates and where customers live, this situation could trigger violations across multiple states simultaneously. That can turn a bad business decision into a serious, multi-jurisdictional legal problem very quickly. Then there's the issue of chargebacks. When customers dispute charges with their credit card companies after receiving defective products, the merchant doesn't just lose the sale, they also get hit with processing fees. And if enough chargebacks stack up, payment processors can step in and cut the merchant off entirely. That would mean no ability to process online payments at all. For a brand that relies on direct-to-consumer e-commerce sales, that's game-over territory. The legal exposure here isn't theoretical. It's not hypothetical. It's real, it's serious, and it's building momentum right now. This goes far beyond a public relations issue. This is the kind of situation that can cause long-term financial damage, trigger regulatory scrutiny, and potentially end the brand entirely. The UK expansion plan that makes 0 sense. And yet, Despite everything unfolding right now, recent reports suggest Meghan Markle is planning to expand the American Riviera Orchard brand into the UK market. Yes, really. The same brand that's struggling to ship functional candles in the United States. The same brand that's refusing refunds for defective products. The same brand whose merchandise Netflix reportedly treated as disposable garbage. That brand is apparently planning to break into the United Kingdom.
Is there a business here? Through our deal with Netflix, really creating projects that we felt were compelling.
According to sources close to the situation, Meghan believes she can capture a meaningful share of the UK jam and luxury goods market. She reportedly thinks that once British consumers are exposed to her products, they'll embrace the brand enthusiastically. That belief feels wildly, almost delusionally disconnected from reality. Meghan Markle is significantly less popular in the UK than she is in the United States, and her approval ratings in the US aren't exactly stellar either. The British public has been very vocal about their feelings. Very clear, very consistent. There's also the legal environment to consider. The UK has much stricter consumer protection laws than the United States. Refund rights are clearer. Enforcement is faster. Penalties are harsher. If defective products were sold in the UK and refunds were refused, the legal consequences would likely be swift and extremely costly. Then there's competition. The UK market is already saturated with established brands that have loyal customers and proven quality. That includes high-growth products associated with King Charles, which are well regarded and backed by genuine royal heritage. Competing in that space requires more than a famous name. It requires trust, consistency, and products that actually work as advertised. The idea that this brand could successfully enter and dominate any market right now while simultaneously struggling with basic product functionality and unresponsive customer service doesn't align with reality. It doesn't make business sense. It doesn't make logical sense. Expansion only magnifies existing problems. It doesn't hide them. It doesn't fix them. It makes them bigger, louder, and more expensive. The pattern that can't be ignored. The wickless candle situation isn't an isolated incident. It's the latest entry in a growing list of serious problems. Products that appeared to sell out instantly on launch day, followed by waves of order cancellations. Ongoing quality complaints across different product categories. The collapse of the Netflix partnership that was supposed to propel the brand into the mainstream. Unresponsive customer service. Defective merchandise. No refunds. Radio silence. At a certain point, these issues stop looking like bad luck or unfortunate coincidences. They start looking like a pattern. And patterns are exactly what regulators pay attention to, what lawyers pay attention to, what consumers pay very close attention to. Second chances run out. Patience wears thin. Consequences eventually arrive. Charging $64 for a candle that doesn't work, offering no refund when customers complain.
There's nothing to light. I literally want a refund. Meghan Markle, send me a frickin' refund.
Leaving valid complaints completely unanswered. That's not luxury branding. That's not even competent business practice. That's a warning sign flashing bright red. What this means for you, and why you should care. Maybe you've never purchased an American Riviera Orchard product. Maybe you have zero interest in Meghan Markle or celebrity brands.
Meghan Markle is back in her businesswoman era. Lifestyle brand American Riviera Orchard.
Maybe luxury candles aren't your thing, but here's why this matters anyway. This situation is a perfect case study in how brands can collapse when they prioritize marketing over substance, when they charge premium prices without delivering premium quality, when they ignore customers and hope problems disappear on their own. It matters because consumer protection laws exist for exactly these scenarios. When companies sell you defective products and refuse to make things right, you have legal recourse. You have rights. And those rights only mean something when people actually use them. It matters because every purchase you make is a vote of confidence. You're trusting that business to deliver what they promised. You're trusting them to stand behind their products. You're trusting them to treat you fairly if something goes wrong. When that trust is violated, when that contract is broken, the consequences should be real and meaningful. This isn't about attacking one person or one brand. This is about holding businesses accountable when they fail customers on a massive scale. This is about asking hard questions when luxury pricing doesn't match actual quality. This is about demanding transparency, responsiveness, and basic competence from companies that want your money. The questions nobody's answering. So let's lay them out clearly, the questions that need answers. Who is actually overseeing quality control in this company? Because if candles are shipping without wicks repeatedly, someone isn't doing their job. Either quality control doesn't exist, or it exists and failed catastrophically. Which is it? Why is customer service completely unresponsive when customers report defective products? What kind of business model involves ignoring the people who give you money? How is that sustainable? Where exactly are these products being manufactured? What facilities? What standards? What oversight? Because something is clearly going very wrong in the production process. Why is there a blanket no refund policy for defective merchandise? That's not standard practice for legitimate businesses. That's not how you build customer loyalty. That's not even legal in many circumstances. Who approved the decision to expand into the UK market while these problems remain unresolved? What business plan justifies international expansion when you can't successfully fulfill domestic orders? These aren't rhetorical questions. These are the kinds of questions that regulators, lawyers, and journalists should be asking, loudly, repeatedly, until satisfactory answers are provided. What happens when luxury becomes a liability? The luxury market operates on trust. When you pay premium prices, you're buying more than just a product. You're buying expertise, craftsmanship, attention to detail, a certain level of assurance that this purchase is special, elevated, worth the investment. Break that trust, and the entire value proposition collapses. Right now, the American Riviera Orchard brand is discovering this lesson in real time. The perception before purchase matters. The experience during purchase matters. And the support after purchase matters immensely. When all three of those touch points fail simultaneously, when the product arrives broken, when customer service disappears, when refunds are denied, that's not a luxury experience. That's not even a mediocre experience.
To be an elevated lifestyle empire, premium products for discerning customers.
That's a nightmare scenario that sends customers running to social media, to lawyers, to credit card companies, to anyone who will listen. And people are listening. The complaints are spreading. The documentation is piling up. The pattern is becoming impossible to deny. The bigger picture: celebrity brands and accountability. This situation also raises broader questions about celebrity-backed brands and how they operate.
Positioned as your average celebrity side hustle. This wasn't some actress slapping a name on a...
When a famous name launches a product line, there's an automatic assumption of quality, of oversight, of genuine involvement. Consumers believe that someone with that much to lose wouldn't attach their name to inferior products. They trust the brand because they trust, or at least recognize, the person behind it. But what happens when that assumption proves false? When the famous name is just branding, and the actual product development, manufacturing, and customer service are handed off to third parties who cut corners? What happens when hands-on involvement is marketing language rather than operational reality? What happens when consumer complaints are ignored because the celebrity founder is too busy, too distanced, or too unconcerned to actually address them? These questions extend far beyond one brand. They touch on fundamental issues of accountability, transparency, and consumer protection in an era where celebrity entrepreneurship is everywhere. Can this brand recover? Theoretically, yes. Any brand can recover from a crisis if they take the right steps quickly enough. Those steps would include immediately acknowledging the problem publicly, full transparency, no spin, no excuses, just honesty about what went wrong, issuing unconditional refunds to every customer who received a defective product, no questions asked, no hoops to jump through, just refunds immediately, implementing a comprehensive product recall, pull everything off shelves until quality control can be verified and improved, overhauling the entire customer service operation, respond to every outstanding complaint, apologize personally, make things right, bringing in independent third-party auditors to review manufacturing processes, quality control standards, and business practices, then publish those findings publicly, delaying any expansion plans until existing operations are stabilized and customers are satisfied. Would American Riviera Orchard actually take these steps? Based on everything we've seen so far, that seems unlikely, but it's the only path forward that leads anywhere other than complete collapse. The timeline nobody wants to talk about. Here's what the next 6 to 12 months could look like if nothing changes. More customer complaints surface, more documentation, more social media posts, more attention from media outlets and consumer protection advocates. Formal complaints start piling up with the FTC, state attorneys general, and the Better Business Bureau. Regulatory attention increases. Law firms that specialize in class action lawsuits start reaching out to affected customers. Legal groundwork begins. Payment processors review the chargeback data and start asking difficult questions about the merchant's practices. Retail partnerships, if any exist, quietly distance themselves. Nobody wants their brand associated with this kind of controversy. The UK expansion plans either get quietly shelved or launch disastrously, triggering a whole new wave of complaints under stricter European consumer protection laws. Investor confidence, if any exists, evaporates. Funding dries up. Operations scale down or shut down entirely. That's not a doomsday prediction. That's just what typically happens when businesses ignore fundamental problems and hope they'll disappear on their own. History is littered with brands that learned this lesson too late. What you can do if you're affected. If you purchased a defective American Riviera Orchard product and haven't received a satisfactory resolution, here are your options with the Federal Trade Commission at ftc.gov. It's free, it's straightforward, and it creates an official record. File a complaint with your state's Attorney General office. Most states have dedicated consumer protection divisions that take these matters seriously. Dispute the charge with your credit card company. Explain that you received defective merchandise and the merchant refused a refund. Most card issuers will side with cardholders in clear-cut cases like this. File a complaint with the Better Business Bureau. While they can't force legal action, they create public records that affect business ratings and reputation. Document everything. Save emails, screenshots, order confirmations, photos of the defective product. If this becomes a class action lawsuit, that documentation will matter. Share your experience honestly on social media and review platforms. Other consumers deserve to know what they're potentially walking into. You have rights as a consumer. You have recourse when businesses fail to deliver functional products. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. The final word. So where does this leave us? With a luxury brand charging premium prices for products that don't work, with customers being denied refunds for objectively defective merchandise, with expansion plans that ignore fundamental operational failures, with a pattern of problems that keeps growing rather than shrinking. Can American Riviera Orchard survive this scandal? Technically, yes, but only with massive changes that show no signs of happening. Will there be real legal consequences? The foundation is being laid right now. Complaints are being filed. Documentation is piling up. Lawyers are paying attention. So yes, legal consequences seem increasingly likely. And here's the most important question. Would you trust this brand with your money? Knowing everything we now know about wickless candles, unresponsive customer service,
Candle arrived at customers' homes without a wick. No wick.
refused refunds, and products being given away as trash by Netflix, knowing about the gap between marketing promises and actual quality, knowing about the pattern of problems that keeps expanding, would you spend $64 on a candle from American Riviera Orchard?
Candle. A $64 candle, no less, from a brand that promised luxury.
If your answer is no, you're not alone. If your answer is absolutely not, you're in good company. And if your answer is, I already did and I deeply regret it, you have options, you have rights, you have recourse. This story isn't over. If anything, it's just entering its next chapter, the one where consequences catch up with decisions, where patterns become impossible to ignore, where consumer protection laws either mean something or they don't. We'll be watching, we'll be documenting, and we'll be holding everyone involved accountable every step of the way. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about celebrity gossip or social media drama. This is about basic business ethics, basic consumer rights, and basic honesty in commerce. Either those things matter or they don't. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Have you had experience with American Riviera Orchard products? Did you receive a wickless candle? Were you able to get a refund? Share your story. Others need to hear it. If this breakdown gave you new perspective on this situation, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We're covering this story until it reaches its conclusion, whatever that ends up being. More investigations coming soon. More accountability, more truth, because you deserve to know what you're really buying when you spend your hard-earned money. Stay informed, stay skeptical, and always, always read the fine print.